And we will start laying down our backs, so come on down there when you're ready. Coming into our centering ritual to begin sending those signals to the body that it's time for relaxation. This can start off with just a couple of breaths in through the nose, followed by an exhale out of the mouth. Just a nice big sigh. Initiating that first release of tension. And then starting to transition into a breath that is very gentle and in and out through the nose, resisting the urge to really change much about your breath other than that at this moment. And begin to relax the muscles through the forehead. Feel any of those lines through your forehead beginning to smooth out. And that smoothless flow, smooth feeling moves back to the temples, around the ears to the back of the jaw. Relax the entire face, neck and shoulders. So I thought we would explore the concept of softness today. Conventional wisdom would have us believe that life is hard, but this isn't often an intellectual decision we've come to. This has just sort of become a default. And so maybe you'll join me in this experiment. I want you to imagine the air around you as being very soft. It's cozy. Wraps around your neck and shoulders like a warm scarf. The neck and shoulders respond with relaxation and relief. And then begin to breathe in this softness, the soft air that is around you. Begins to flow in as you take your breath lower into the lungs and gently allow the belly to expand with ease. And although there are elements of life that are hard, and we might have these thoughts of hardness pop up in our minds, experiment with greeting them with a softness. Try to remain soft even as these thoughts pop in, come and go. And if you like, continue to experiment cultivating a little bit of softness around the body, feeling a sense of fluidity. When our thoughts focus on the hard things, perhaps our shoulders get a little harder too, the neck becomes the center of tension. So let's use the imagination to also release. We'll bend into the knees, bringing soles of the feet to the floor and separating the feet nice and wide. And then take the arms up overhead into a Y position. We'll slowly let the knees fall to the left and to the right, bringing some gentle movement to the hips and the spine. Continuing to practice the imagery of a soft, comfortable air around you. This is something called idiokinesis. This is used in sports psychology fairly often. Visualize your body moving through that softness. And the next time the knees fall over to the left, hold to that side. And as you hold the knees to the left, begin to breathe into the belly without forcing, without creating tension through the neck. And linking your exhale to a deeper release through the muscles where you're feeling the stretch. So that stretch actually decreases as you hold here. The key philosophy here is letting go to go deeper, not forcing or rushing into it. And we'll hold this for one more minute. But take this chance to assess if there's any areas of your body that you are holding on to tension, or are you forcing yourself to stay in a position that maybe isn't comfortable for you. So if those shoulders are starting to not enjoy being here, you can lower the arms. This is also a chance to practice listening to the body and not ignoring the signals. It's a surprisingly challenging practice for some of us, myself included, to listen to the body and give it what it needs. And then slowly bring the knees up through center, allowing them to fall over to the right side. Keeping the knees apart wide if they've come a little closer together again. Checking back in at the beginning of every pose with your intention, with your experiment to visualize softness, to feel it around the body, to breathe it in. And slowly bring the knees back to center. Snow angel the arms down by your side. Make any movements you'd like to make here to feel a little bit more comfortable. Maybe the knees fall to the left and right, a little back and forth. And then we're going to reach for our strap or our belt. We'll be doing some work in a seated position today, but before we do, we're going to still get in my favorite hamstring stretch. So we'll take the yoga strap and place it around the ball of the left foot, taking your left foot up towards the ceiling. So by ball of the foot, I just mean a little closer towards the toes than the arch of the foot. This is so that we are able to bring the toes down towards the shin a little bit, adding the calf stretch in. That movement of the ankle is called dorsiflexion. So we're dorsiflexing that ankle passively, not actively just yet. This is your big chance to practice compassion and not overdoing a stretch. The hamstrings tend to be a little bit overdone with stretching, so So go easy. Find a really easy stretch here that's not really behind the knee. If it is behind the knee, bend the knee a little more. We are using our arms in this one, so that feeling of softness around the body is important to focus on here, making sure that we're not adding unnecessary tension. That the neck and the jaw are remaining soft throughout this pose. And then from here, we'll do our little angle change by taking our left leg to the right, just a few centimeters. That left hip does stay on the ground. So this is coming from the hip, and this will likely get into a little bit of a new area for you. If you do have any sciatic type pain, you're going to be gentle here, but this might feel quite good to stretch this area. And then we'll do that little bit of a flossing movement here for the sciatic nerve. This is where you'll just gently dorsiflex, pulling the toes down towards the face, and then pressing the toes up towards the ceiling. This is like taking your foot off the gas, dorsiflexing, and then pressing down on the gas. That would be plantar flexion. Back and forth, really slow, observing the subtle changes, or maybe not so subtle changes in the stretch there. And then we'll bring the left leg back to center, returning it down to the floor. Straightening up both legs for just a moment. It's always nice to enjoy the effects of a stretch, especially this one, and let that relaxation, that softness that you might feel through the left leg roll up through the body. Let that spread out. And then we'll switch legs. We'll take the strap around the ball of the right foot. Once again, dialing in a stretch that is full of ease, full of relaxation. This can also be a really counterintuitive mindset where we think the more sensation, the better, the more effective it'll be. But in this case, it really works against our physiology. The harder you stretch the hamstring in particular, the more it is going to resist it. It's going to create tension. That's a built-in reflex. That's a protective reflex. And so we bypass it by being really still and safe, creating comfort in the body. Coming into that angling of the leg, taking the right leg to the left, enough for that stretch to shift a little bit for you. Making that small gas pedal movement again, pressing the toes up towards the ceiling and then down towards the face. Gently back and forth, perhaps even admiring how just moving the ankle joint creates a sensation all the way down to the hip, perhaps the back. If you've ever heard the term posterior chain before, this is what it's talking about. You're feeling everything connected there. No muscle works in isolation in the body. Perfect. We'll bring the right leg back to center and down to the floor. Remove the strap and take both legs out long. Once again, closing the eyes and trying to emphasize any feelings of relaxation that you get from the rebound of this pose. Just a feeling of blood flowing back into the leg. Taking one more moment here before we change positions to revisit this soft air around us. To breathe it in, are you able to make it even softer? Is the body able to melt down to the floor even more? Can you relax your hands? your forearms. And when you're ready, slowly begin to roll onto the right side of your body. We're going to pause on the right side for a moment. Good. Bonus points if you yawned. And then nice and slow, we'll make our way up to a cross-legged seat or a seated position that's comfortable for you. We'll be in the seated position for a few minutes here, so whatever works. Maybe sitting on a yoga block, just sitting in a chair is fine too. We'll have that strap handy again. So I wanted to do a little bit of the shoulder stuff today because it can be really interesting where our psychology meets our physiology, and we tend to carry a lot of stress in our shoulders, and this idea of life is hard and having to do all these hard things. And so working on the shoulders can be a nice way to go from the body to the mind, to kind of reverse engineer relaxation a little bit. So we won't use the strap just yet, but have it handy. We're going to take the arms out into a T. If you do have any rotator cuff injuries, concerns about the neck or shoulders, go really gently here. None of this should be dangerous necessarily, but if it doesn't feel good, respect that, listen to it. We're going to sit up really straight as best we can and bring the chin down so that we feel the back of the neck get long. And our arms are in a T as we do this. And already that might be a fairly good stretch through the neck. Now, while you're holding here, try to breathe into the belly in a soft way, so the belly still is just gently expanding. And then slowly start to turn your palms up towards the ceiling, letting that really happen from the shoulder joint, so the bicep starts to point up. Good. Lightly squeeze the shoulder blades back behind you. Might be getting more challenging to breathe into the belly here, so you try to find that softness. Good. I'm going to mirror you, so I'll be saying the opposite hand than what I'm doing, but I'm going to take your left hand down to the floor. If your arms are really, really long, you could try sitting on your left hand, but if they're so long that that doesn't actually do any stretching for you, just reach your left hand away from you so that your shoulder drops. And then your right hand comes up and over. Now, this isn't to pull your head down, but rather to give your head a little something to press into, a little bit of resistance. So if you're already feeling a big stretch just by reaching the arm out, then that's probably great. But you can start to take your right ear towards your shoulder a little bit, adding to the stretch. Again, less is going to be more here, especially with the neck too. Now just 10% effort. Press your head into your hand so that this is an active stretch. And I'm turning my palm up to the ceiling to see how that feels. I'm tucking my chin in a little bit to maybe emphasize that stretch a little more to the back of the neck. And then lastly, just do a little bit of rotation on this right arm. So the arm rotates down towards the floor and back up. take one more nice big breath into the belly. Exhaling to gently release and come out of that position. Rolling out through the shoulders. Let's take the right arm out to the side. And once again, if your arms are, I should say that if your arms are short enough, you can fit that arm underneath the seat for a little bit of depression through the shoulder, but reaching out and then thinking about that shoulder going down is great. That's what we ultimately want out of this. Okay. We're going to reach that left arm up and over and take the left ear towards the shoulder just a little bit, just enough, dialing in that stretch. It's not too intense. And then lightly pressing the head towards the hand. 10% effort is really all it takes. And then really let the belly expand, let the diaphragm descend. You might feel a big stretch to the neck when you do that. This is how proper breathing mechanics will also protect us from tension in the neck. And that's really one of the links between psychology and physiology. With stress comes chest breathing, not relaxed belly breathing. Chest breathing requires the use of these muscles to the neck more. And so it's very fatiguing. It becomes aggravating for the neck. So you might feel the neck getting a deeper stretch with a relaxed belly breath. For that reason, you're actually stretching them. And then slowly rotate that arm in and out. Just seeing if that stretch goes away and comes back, just making observations. Beautiful. One more breath to the belly. Exhaling to release and gently come back. Good. Rolling out through the shoulders. Now take a moment with the arms at the side, closing the eyes. Using this idea of visualization again, or idiokinesis. Visualize yourself standing under a waterfall now. And that cool stream of water is flowing down from the top of your head, through the back of your neck, down the shoulders. Washing away the tension, and you release with it, flow with that water. Let the shoulder blades sink down to rest. Imagine those shoulder blades are actually sitting down on top of your pelvis. Gently open the eyes. We'll look over the right shoulder and then take the chin down to the chest while continuing to look over to the right. Take the right hand up and over to the back side of the head a little bit now. Same idea, we're going to press our head into the hand a little bit, and the hand kind of helps lengthen the back of the neck by maybe gently drawing the back of the skull upward. This will likely feel like a pretty good stretch down that back of the left side of your neck. Tucking the chin in just a little bit, taking one more big breath in. Exhaling to gently release and come back to center. We'll look over the opposite shoulder now. Bringing the chin down towards the chest. Reaching that left arm up and over to the back side of our head. Just lightly pressing your head back into the hand and maybe using the hand to lengthen the back of the neck by just pulling upwards a little bit. Tucking the chin in and taking one more big breath into the belly. Exhaling to release. Rolling the shoulders out once you're back. And now we'll reach for the yoga strap. So I really like this stretch too, where you turn and look down. This tends to get some of those muscles that are bothered by looking at a computer screen. So if you do have a lot of that going on, I've had to kind of come back to this too now that I look at a computer screen all day. So that can be a really nice one for releasing some of these tighter muscles in the back of the neck, if that's problematic for you. But let's grab our strap now. We'll take the strap pretty wide. Again, if you have any shoulder concerns, you're going to be really gentle with this and you're going to hold on to this strap fairly lightly as we take it up overhead. Now, the intention here is that you feel a pretty good stretch to the chest. If there's any pain in the shoulder joint, you're going to avoid that range of motion and just be really gentle here. So you take this up overhead. I'm going to give you a side view. We want to avoid doing things with our spine to kind of create the illusion of flexibility. One of the things that we might do is arch our back. Notice how it looks like I'm stretching more if I arch my back, but all we're doing is kind of borrowing from the back. So we want to keep our ribs down. Our chin is tucked. We avoid taking our head forward. So we really keep a neutral spine as we explore taking the arms behind the head or really just overhead if that's where the stretch is. And you're thinking about reaching out. So go for a big, wide, expansive reach here. Straightening the elbows as best you can. Good, now breathe into the belly. And then check your thoughts. Did you already say, this is hard? See if you can say, this is soft. I am soft through these muscles. I'm learning how to master my daily life. Breathing into the belly. Taking one more big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly take that strap down. Rolling the shoulders out, making any movements that feel good. So those are all just amazing stretches that you can do at your desk. You can kind of pop into those a little bit throughout your day, and they're the exact counter movement to a lot of the internal rotation and typing and computer stuff that we do. So it can be nice for remedying some neck tension. But we're going to come back down to the floor now. Have your block handy. Once you're on the ground, we'll take the block or a pillow and place it underneath the pelvis. And kind of low on the pelvis. because we're coming into a supported shoulder stand now. So for this one, it's about having the legs up in the air, and it might feel nice to actually have the pelvis tilt back a little bit, which might actually make the feet hover over your face a little more, or just angle the legs back. If your hamstrings are tighter, then you can bend the knees. This one isn't about getting a big hamstring stretch, so don't stress about that. This is our final transition pose before we come into our relaxation. So it's another chance to trigger a deeper relaxation in the body and visualize this softness through the neck and shoulders again. Let the legs feel weightless here. Lastly, give the ankles a nice roll. Big circles with the ankles. And then bending into the knees, soles of the feet back to the floor, removing the block from underneath the body, making any last movements that would feel good. And when you're ready, take the legs out long, transitioning into your final relaxation. Separate the feet nice and wide, shoulder width apart. The feet are open and relaxed. Lightly tuck the shoulder blades together and let the palms face up. If there's a softness in the legs, begin to let that move up through your body like a wave. Let that wave actually move through your organs too. It moves through you, not just muscles. Relaxing all the muscles through the face, neck and shoulders. Spending the next few moments here completely wrapped in that cozy blanket of softness. Maybe you feel like you're floating. Whatever it is, enjoy. And slowly starting to wiggle through the fingers and the toes, rolling out the wrists and the ankles. Finally reaching the arms overhead for one last full body stretch, like you're just waking up. Slowly rolling to the right side of your body, pausing there for a moment. And if it's comfortable, keep the eyes closed as you make your way up to a cross-legged seat. Sitting with a tall spine and breathing into the belly. Remembering that as things around us appear hard, you have this coat of softness, that you can approach things with softness too. And while anxiety is a very contagious emotion, so is calm. We'll lower chin to chest and gently open the eyes. I can't thank you enough for spending some of your beautiful Friday with me. I hope you've got a lovely long weekend ahead of you. You get outside and enjoy it and say hello to some loved ones and friends. Always a pleasure. Let me know how the shoulders felt. If you like doing a little bit of shoulders, we can keep throwing some shoulder stuff in there too. And yeah, great seeing everybody. Thanks so much.